Welcome back to the iconic Wealth for Women TV show. In this mini-series, we've been diving into everything mindset shift because we know mindset is the foundations for stepping into the wealthy you. We've discussed things like imposter syndrome. We've discussed things like limiting beliefs, our stories, how we've held ourselves back. We've gone deep into some of the personal journeys of these incredible women on this set today, so that you can see that no matter where you are, wherever you're at the moment, you can either continue to grow and develop, or you can stay stuck where you are. So we're hoping we're going to give you some choices that you can step into the wealthy you if you choose to do that today. So in this segment, we're going to get a bit action take because we all know that personal breakthroughs and things like that happen when you start to take action. It's no good just sitting here listening to how cool we are. It's about then actually getting you out there, making a change for yourself, helping someone else do something different as well. So we're going to do a bit of a rapid fire round to start with. So I want to do it fairly fast paced because I want to give you some actionable steps. So ladies, let's kick off with what's one habit that keeps a wealth building mindset strong?
Celebrating yourself.
Oh, I love we haven't talked about celebrating, have we?
Yeah, your wins, but big, small, big, doesn't matter, but just that act of celebrating and just really acknowledging the role that you've played in it as well. So not just oh, this happened, but it was because of this. Like no justification, just I did this, I won this, this happened for me.
Oh, I love it. We haven't really talked about celebrating it, have we? But it's so crucial, isn't it? We quite often, I remember when I first hit six figures and I was just like, it kept going. You just ignore it, don't you? You don't quite often celebrate the milestones. Celebration. So celebrate. I want you to celebrate. Find one thing to celebrate today. Nikki.
Consistency.
Getting
it back in touch with your why, knowing what you want to do, and then taking consistent action if it feels good. And that's the key. It has to feel aligned to you. And anything that doesn't feel good, can I sub that out? Can I give it to somebody else to do? But consistency, just showing up and doing it, not just for a day, not just for a week, but showing up day in, day out and being consistent so that people know you for what you're doing.
I love that. I was talking to Caroline Strawson the other day because someone said, oh, you're so lucky you've got 4 million followers. She's like, I think it was for the first 3 years, she never missed one day on Instagram.
There's no luck involved in that.
There's no luck involved. No. And again, it's that consistent action. Now, obviously, she's got a team that helps her do it and all that sort of stuff. But again, in the beginning, it was just her showing up consistently. So I really love that. Lesley, one habit.
I think it is to build up your resilience muscle. Because I think, in building wealth, you need to keep your wealth invested for it to experience those compound gains. And I think, what we're experiencing in the market at the moment, there can be a tendency to want to withdraw the money that you've got invested because you see stock market going, psh, is actually having the confidence to know that markets go up and down all the time. And wealth is something you're in for the long term, not the short term. So to have the confidence in your strategy, maintain that strategy and build up your own resilient muscle when it comes to everything that's going on the outside. Put your earmuffs on and ignore it. You dig in, you dig deep, and you don't panic because markets only crash when investors start to panic. Yeah. Don't be one of those panickers, basically.
I really love that. We were talking about investing the other day. So one of my habits around that is when I set up my investment pots and things like that, what I start to do now is every time I cancel a subscription, I either put the whole amount in, so I either take the whole amount, exactly what I've been paying for that subscription, straight into my investment pot, or if it's a bigger one, I'll go, okay, I'll take, so I've just cancelled Kajabi, which was nearly $300, and it's like, great, I'll put half of that straight in, that goes straight into my investment pot, don't see it, because I've been paying it for a year.
Exactly.
So again, I love cancelling subscriptions and topping up my investment pot, so really, really good. So what about what's one simple way that women can reinforce their financial confidence? How do we get money savvy?
Looking at it. I know that sounds very simple.
I love that. It's so true.
I think, I have a financial day, it's monthly right now, but where I will just deep dive into all my finances. But I look at my finances every week, but I allocate this day because I think it's that responsibility piece. You get confidence when you have that information, the knowledge, and you're making the choice to have that responsibility about your your money. So
Brilliant.
yeah, and I said about celebration before, celebrating the payments you can make, celebrate not just what's coming in, but the people you're able to pay, the services. So, but you have to know what's going in and out to be able to celebrate that.
Well, it's like people were complaining about tax, weren't they? But if you've made tax, guess what? You've made money. So thank you for being there, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to do what you do. So I really love that. And that's the simple one, but it's the one that quite often most avoid.
Yes.
So I really, really love that. Go on, Nicky. One simple way women can reinforce financial confidence.
Awareness
Yep.
of what your current situation is right now, because everything that's going on in your life right now, write it in the
Shameless
journal.
plug. Journal, free wealth journal.
But everything that's going on in your life right now is a reflection. It's a mirror. And so if you don't like your financial situation, if you're playing small in any area, if you're feeling fear in any area, then looking at that area and looking beneath that area, because it is a reflection. So awareness, bringing it into your awareness pattern, very similar to what you were saying in a slightly different way.
Do you ever do that mirror exercise where you stand in front of a mirror?
Yeah, every morning.
I find that
every
so
morning.
hard. Do you?
Every morning, look yourself in the eyes and tell yourself, I'm enough, I'm worthy, and anything that you want. That is the most powerful thing certainly a child could do that is struggling with the I'm not enoughness.
Love that. Lesley, confidence queen.
So I'm going to talk about it from a parent's perspective, because I think we are, as parents, we are the author of our children's money stories. That is why we have the money stories, because our parents handed those stories to us, basically. And I think as parents, it's really, really important we're talking to our children about money from a really young age. But you don't need to be the expert. It's very easy to do. All you need to do is to ask the child, what do you want to know about money? They'll come at it from their own age perspective.
Oh, that'd be fun. Can you imagine some of the questions you'd get?
Oh my goodness,
I love kids.
absolutely.
Kids have no filter, do they? So it's like,
None at
I'd
all.
love to hear that.
Absolutely.
Maybe we should do a fun kids show at one stage.
How much have you got?
How much can I have?
Yeah, how much can I have?
Exactly.
What's my pocket money this week?
Yeah.
Love it, sorry.
So what do you want to know about money? Remember what you wanted to know about money at their age, and then say to them, I might not have all the answers, but we can find out together. Because if your child comes home from school and says, Mum, I need to find out the name of Henry VIII's 6 wives, you don't go, oh my God, I don't know.
Come on, you must know. I was going to say that they all did anyway.
Exactly. Let's go Google
Yeah.
it. Or let's ring up Auntie Kath, who was a history teacher or whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly the same with money.
resources,
You
yeah.
don't have to know about it all. You have to be the channel to help your child to find out the answer. So I think it is about having the confidence to have the conversation with your children. That builds your confidence and it builds their confidence at the same time. The perfect ripple effect.
I love that. And I think, because again, we talk about the jargon in the industry, don't we? Lots of the education space is quite hard work, but actually if we're trying to explain it to a child, it's like you said, you're going to learn yourself and actually you're going to then be able to replace it again.
Yeah, my 7-year-old asked for a credit card for his birthday, which prompted the conversation.
How did you respond to that?
Yeah.
How did you respond to the 7-year-old?
Well, we had the conversation about, what he
what it
wants
actually
and
means.
everything. But I thought how interesting that, when you're asking what do you want for your birthday, and he thought, well, I actually want to be able to choose whatever I want.
My daughter used to say, can I have one of those cards that just gives you money out
Yes,
of it?
yeah, the magic money
Just
machine.
drew it out,
Yeah, just go to a machine. It just gives you your mum. It's amazing. They don't know
Say
the
nicely,
background.
thank you, and please nicely. And
Yes,
comes out the wall.
and then you get more. Yeah, it's like, exactly. I love that. That's so cool. So we're reinforcing some financial confidence there. What about an action step? So what's one thing you could do today to step into a wealthy self?
I think treating yourself how you see that you would love to treat yourself when you have whatever financial goal is there. Because I think we've talked a lot about mindset today, but that for me is around the being of who you
Give me
are.
an example.
So for example, instead of saying, oh, well, when I make, a 10K month, then I'm going to treat myself to, like a massage or something like that. It doesn't have to be like a big financial thing, but it's that act of choosing that you're not waiting for something externally to happen before you give yourself permission to recognize that you are enough, you are wealthy in your own right, because that's going to then reinforce that you have the identity of somebody that's stepping into wealth rather than waiting for something externally to say, oh, now you're here. Because all that will happen then is that you'll continue to chase. You'll chase like the next goal and the next goal. And I've worked with people that make a huge amount of money. Like one of my bosses was a billionaire, and it's like, it's never about the money, because it's always about how you see yourself as somebody that's made that money as well. So yeah.
Like it. One action step, Lesley.
I think connect to your future self. So something I do, my future self is literally, she's there up against that wall over there, and there's a golden thread connecting she and I. Literally a golden thread. And when I am not doing the things I should be doing, I get a little pull on the thread. Go live on Facebook. Go and ring up that client who hasn't paid a bill. Go and have that conversation. I had a discovery call, last week, etc. Giving me a little nudge. Because I think when you when you physically can see your future self, and she is reliant on you doing all the things you said you were going to do on New Year's Eve, how next year was going to be different, etc. But you stop doing them because New Year's resolutions don't actually work.
No.
But actually, when you've made that commitment to that person that you can see in front of you, and there's that golden thread connecting the two of you, all of a sudden that helps you to create the action that you want to if you're going to fulfill on the life expectancy that she has, the expectations that she has for the life she wants to be living, based on the results of the life of the actions that you are taking today. So really connect with your future self and physically think about that thread between you and her.
I really love that. You always got such visual analogies. Like I've still never forgotten your journal one, that in relation to your journal that you don't write down, like when you were helping changing mindset, so we're helping changing language and reframing, and lots of people tell you to write down what you're hearing, don't they? And Leslie's like, no, don't do that, because then you're reinforcing what you're actually hearing. So immediately you got me reframing everything I wrote down into something really positive, or something to the outcome of what I wanted rather than what I was saying. And I've never forgotten that analogy. So it's really good. I love your stories. Nikki, what's one practical?
Well, I was thinking what you were saying, because I was thinking along the same lines. It's the be, do, have. If I be this person, I can do that, and then I can have that. And that's not the way it works. You have to kind of act as if. But for some people, that's so hard. And so, just kind of leading on from the journaling, from my perspective, if you haven't got it, if you've been trying and it's still not happening, use the journal, write down what you want, and then write underneath, which goes kind of against what we were saying here, but just write down, I can't have this because, and just do that. Just do a kind of the mind to the hand, to the pencil, to the pen, let it just free ride. And after about 90 seconds, you're accessing the subconscious mind, and it will start to really see why you don't want that, because there's a reason. Your mind isn't deliberately sabotaging you. So if you don't have it yet, you want it, then I can't have this because, and just give that a go, see where it takes you.
Because it starts with awareness, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Because then you suddenly...
Because once you know what it is you're dealing with, that's going to give you sort of almost like the root cause of it. That's not the surface level problems.
No.
That is why you really don't want it.
Yeah.
Even though you do.
Level.
It's the conflict. You'll see the conflict. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Because, and again, I mean, the power of writing is just, we all know that, don't we? The power of writing things down. Yeah. And I remember writing letters. You've probably done letters to yourself somewhere along the line, your future self. And I wanted to be the Oprah of wealth. What am I doing today? On a TV show. So again, you never know how the things are going to play out. They may not play out in what you write down either. They may play out in a very, very different way. But I do find it fascinating that quite often, and I even do this with numbers. Sometimes I'll have a list, and it's like I go back with my hot clients and go, who are they? Where are they? Every time I go back and look, it's always the ones that have signed up to work with me, because I've written them down. So again, find that really powerful. So hopefully that gives you some action steps. So we wanted to give you some parting things that you could start today, because we know that if you start even with small steps, compound very, very heavily. So we're coming up to the end of this mini-series where we've obviously dived a lot into mindset. So ladies, I want you to be able to share what's just one piece of advice that you wish you could share or impart now on anyone that's listening to this. You want to kick off?
I think it's that assumption that you don't need to know it all. And I think you touched on this, Lesley, about just allow yourself to be curious. Like, you don't have to have all the answers about how it's going to happen or even know, what wealth looks like for you. But just get curious around asking questions, putting yourself in conversation with people that are moving in a direction that you want to go and get interested about their journey. But I think that a lot of the time we just, as women, hold ourselves back from knowing more because we feel like we already should know it.
True.
And it's, so just allowing yourself to be more curious around your own wealth and listen to others, I think.
Yeah, and I love that. And I think, one of the things around the Iconic community for us is having incredible women in the community that walk the walk.
Yeah.
So, I encourage you to come in the community and start talking to some of these women. We were talking about that the other day with some of the property girls. Like, if they're interested in property, go and just talk to someone that's doing it. Yeah. Like, find out more about it. So I really, really love that. It's like a really powerful tip to get started. Nikki, what's one thing that you want to impart? What if you could have, or something that you wish you'd known, anything that you want to impart on anyone listening right now around mindset and wealth?
I think for me, when I was struggling with the wealth side, and you're, like you've said before, there's so much on the socials about get to 6 figures, then get to 7 figures, and then wow, you could even go to 8 figures, and it's the stigma of the number and the amount. But when you come from a place of service, when it was Richard Branson, I think, that said everything that he's ever done to make his multi-millions was because there was a need for something.
Yep.
And so when you're genuinely looking at the people that you want to serve and the people that you want to help, and it really genuinely comes from a place of the heart, then the money is kind of the bit that comes along with it. And yes, of course, there's financial strategies and investments and stuff that I'm not trained in, but it's getting you to that point, and it's starting from it. It comes from the heart.
I love that. Yeah, because you've got to go deep. And we've talked about finding your passion, finding your why, asking yourself your deep values, those sorts of things. Lesley.
So as we were talking, the one thing that's really impactful for me is thinking about the whole concept of the rocking chair coach. And the rocking chair coach,
It's another great analogy. Look at this. You can tell she's very visual. You're very kinesthetic.
Children.
Very kinesthetic stories.
And the rocking chair coach is essentially you when you're 80, and you are there in the rocking chair, and you as you are now goes to see the rocking chair coach yourself, basically. And it's a very simple question she asks you: are you happy? And that's it. Are you happy?
Killer. Yeah.
Because if you are genuinely happy, then you are wealthy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think it's that, because very often we ask ourselves very deep questions, and actually that "are you happy" is essentially the crux of everything. Yeah. Because when you're looking for more, it's usually because you're not happy with what you have. And there's nothing wrong. Some people say, oh, you should be grateful for what you have. Of course you should be grateful. Gratitude is massively important and empowering, but it's also disempowering as well, because it can give you the excuse to stay where you are. So imagine yourself talking to your 80-year-old self, and she asks you, are you happy? And lean into that answer.
It's one of the top questions of the Conversations with the Dying, isn't it? It's one in that book, Conversations with the Dying. That was one of the top ones.
We were talking about her the other day, Bronwyn Ware. Yeah, best book ever. If you haven't read it, read it, because it really enlightens you. She was a palliative care nurse, wasn't she? Come across from Australia to here. And she goes into the stories around the biggest regrets of dying. And it's just one of the most powerful books that I've ever read. And it really, it does. It really gets you to think genuinely about your life and what's really important. So I think for me, my parting tip for me is I am a very practical person. As you know, I always believe in awareness. So my story was very much before I turned 50, I panicked about my retirement. I was like, no one's going to look after me. I don't have any kids. What if mum and dad go, which they will hopefully before me somewhere along the line. I hope I don't go before them. And I just sat there going, from a practical perspective, I was like, well, hang on a second. I need to take, again, responsibility for my own retirement. And I knew I had some pension and I knew I had a bit of this, but I didn't really have a plan. And I'm always about, can you bring your retirement forward? Because obviously I don't like waiting for a rainy day. How can we do it now? But the first thing I did was I got to grips again with what do I want? what does life look like in that time period? And then I started reverse engineering it. And because I reversed engineer it, what happened was it changed the way I started to see things. So I've now got shares in other people's businesses so I don't have to work in it. And again, because I wanted to create some additional pension pots. So I'm very much awareness for me. Again, it's a really big thing. That's why we have the free wealth journal. But we do that purely to get you starting to think about what is your retirement looking like. And that might feel a long way off. So if you're sitting there being really smug because you're only 20 and you're listening to this, trust me, it goes really quickly. No, but then that is the time to take action more rather than when you're later in life, because obviously the longer, the easier it is to start to develop your long-term wealth. So thank you so much, ladies. We've dived a lot into some of the mindset stuff today because we know that the foundations of mindset is crucial to anything really that you want to do in life, whether it is really just to enjoy life and be happy. We know it comes back to often our mindset. And the difference between women who create their own wealth or who stay stuck isn't talent. It's not luck, as we've described. It's not backgrounds. Backgrounds doesn't matter. Your circumstances don't matter. It's your daily actions, the decisions you make. And it's like you said, it's going deep inside yourself to find out actually what you want to do. So you've heard some really powerful insights from incredible women, but now it's over to you. We want you to take some action today because your financial future starts now. Throughout the Iconic Wealth for Women show, we're diving into all these topics around having powerful conversations around building your wealth, things like cash flow mastery. So if you need to increase your cash flow, it could be looking at some of the wealth vehicles. Maybe you're considering diversifying, thinking about property. We've had stories around turning your life around at 40. How have you built it? We're getting into the roles of community, all that sort of thing. So make sure you stay tuned into the show. That's the most important thing. So whether you're starting from scratch, looking to scale, or simply wanting to take control of your own financial future, we've got you covered. So thank you so much, ladies, for an incredible show. I've had a great time today. I hope you have too. Thank you very much.